Hello, and welcome to the Thyroid Warrior podcast. I'm Ebony, and I'm here as your wellness facilitator. I'm going to be sharing my experiences in managing Hashimoto's disease, and I really hope that it'll help you on your personal journey. Keep in mind, however, this does not substitute as medical advice. It is only for your information and motivational purposes only. Now, let's get started. Hello friends, today I am very excited to talk about carrier oils, and I'm going to be giving you 3 carrier oils that you may not hear about as much as you would, let's say, olive oil or coconut oil, for example. I want to expose you to other types of oils because it's important. And I'm also going to be sharing with you some qualities about those oils that make them special, but I want to set a foundation. And the way that I'm going to do that is very briefly talk to you about your skin. So our skin, and when I say very basic, I mean like we're only going to touch at the tiniest of surfaces. So when we think about our skin has 4 layers, but I'm going to highlight the Stratum Corneum, which is the outermost layer. And what we need to know about it is that it is basically the barriers, our outermost layer. So it's what we see when we look down at our hands or our arms or even our face. And that is going to prevent water loss and protects from pathogens or anything that can impact our skin from the outside. So that layer is so critical to our body's overall health, and we didn't even realize it. So that layer of skin basically has a brick and mortar design. And when we think about it, our skin pretty much develops from the bottom layer up. And it has what's called cell differentiation that's happening at those stages. And basically, our cells are turning into different things and they're becoming the various layers or different junctions and different types of cells that we need in order to function. So at that top layer, we have our nutrients and fatty acids and lipids that are almost kind of being pushed towards the surface. And what we have to remember is that that top layer protects from basically transepidermal water loss. And we also have what's called the natural moisturizing factor that we have to keep in mind of as well. And that set, so to speak, of water-soluble compounds basically contain a mix of things. So it's free amino acids that haven't really been bound to anything. It is lactic acid, different types of sugar and peptides, and even urea. So it's such a cool process to see how our bodies work. And basically that natural moisturizing factor or that collection of water-soluble compounds is going to just keep water in. And it also absorbs water from the atmosphere. So it's really cool when we think about how our skin has natural humectant properties. So when we're looking at shampoo and it's like, oh yes, it has humectants in it and it pulls in or attracts water, and it's just so cool to know that our body has a built-in mechanism for that. I nerd out on that, so you guys will just have to forgive me. Speaking of humectants, just an FYI, honey and glycerin are 2 of the most common humectants that you will see in a lotion, cream. Many times that is why you are using honey in a natural face mask that you might use, because it's trying to absorb that water into your skin. So I just wanted to point that out because it's cool. So when we get back into thinking about the Stratum Corneum, it's pretty much composed of 3 things. ceramides, cholesterol, and fatty acids. Now, ceramides are the highest percentage, being about 40 to 50, cholesterol 20 to 25, and then you have your fatty acids that are 10 to 25%. Now, I want to call out something about fatty acids, and I'm going to add a word in front of it, and that is essential. So whenever you hear or think about essential fatty acids, know that our bodies don't make these. We have to get them from food or something that we apply to our skin, such as an herbal or vegetable oil. So I want you to keep that in mind. And when we have issues basically maintaining this balance related to these layers of our skin, that's when we have our dryness, redness, inflammation, flakiness. All of those things start to happen because our skin is out of balance. Just like we need to keep our thyroid balanced, our skin can become imbalanced as well. When we are thinking about fatty acids as well, and I will point out, just as a tangent, ceramides, think of CeraVe. Hello. That makes me so excited because ceramides are basically meant to trap in water molecules and really absorb that water. And I don't know about you, but whenever I've used CeraVe, it does exactly that. That wonderful thick lotion, so to speak, really does help me on my really, really bad days of dry and flaky skin. And I honestly layer a lot of my products. So if I am using my body oil, I will either let that absorb and dry, and then I'll add the CeraVe on top of it, or either petroleum jelly. Let's not remember, let's not repeat the mistake that I made with the sweet marjoram. FYI, don't do that. But one of the things that really surprised me was learning about how we always hear that cholesterol is bad, high cholesterol is bad, but we actually have cholesterol. We need it. It's throughout our bodies. It's integral in our skin, and that is really what's going to lubricate the layers and help with flexibility. So we need those hydrophobic and hydrophilic layers to keep that moisture in. And also, as it relates to fatty acids, I want to bring up 3 in particular. The last one I'm going to touch on a little bit more, and that's, for example, palmitic acid, stearic acid, which you may hear a lot of in shampoos, for example, and then linoleic acid. And this one is really important, and it's required for the formation and maintenance of the skin's barrier. So we need this in order to prevent the water loss that I've been talking about. And it also serves as food, basically, for our epidermis. So it's really, really important that we are eating foods that contain this same linoleic acid, that we are cooking with it. A lot of vegetable oils have linoleic acid in it. And we also just want to make sure that we're using those same vegetable oils on our skin. And hello, this is why it was so important for me to talk about carrier oils, because many of us struggle with issues of dry skin. And this is the biggest reason why I wanted to shine some light on vegetable oils that aren't necessarily spoken about a lot. So here we go. The 3 oils that I am going to talk about are safflower, sunflower, and flaxseed. Now, I know you may be thinking, okay, sunflower and safflower are very similar. Yeah, you could say that. But I have fallen in love with these 3 oils. I use them in my body oil, especially, mostly because they are easily absorbed by our skin. And that is the part that makes me incredibly excited, especially because in the wintertime, when you're trying to put on oils, or just in general, you really don't want to slip and slide around on your sheets. That's not fun. It's just not fun. Let's just be honest. And what I really and truly just love about our bodies and plants especially is that from a fatty acid perspective, just hopping back to that because I can't help myself, we are going to find that linoleic acid again, but safflower oil in particular, as well as sunflower and flax seeds, are high in omega-6 fatty acids. And we also tend to get a lot of really good nutrients from vegetable oils. And what's really cool about linoleic acid is, as I mentioned, yes, it forms that protective barrier, but we also want to make sure that we're getting those vegetable oils with the linoleic acid in it, because it's also found to have antibacterial properties to them. And one of the other oils, since I'm here and we're talking about fatty acids, flaxseed oil is going to have the alpha linoleic acid in it. And one of the things that I really like about flaxseed oil in particular is how our body converts it. And omega-3s, which we get from flaxseed oil, is going to help to reduce inflammation. And when we apply it onto our skin, it serves the same benefit. And some studies that I've read and some articles that I've read have also demonstrated that it can help with acne as well. But of course, you definitely would want to talk to your healthcare provider about that, just to make sure that that could potentially work for you. So it's really important that you always do your research with these things. And when it comes to all of these oils that I'm mentioning, they also will have a high amount of tocopherol or vitamin E in it. And anytime I'm using a safflower oil or even a sunflower oil, it's really soothing for my skin. So if I'm having just redness and itchiness, I really enjoy using safflower oil to kind of calm that down. So it just makes me very happy because no one likes itchy skin. Don't forget that part. So when it comes to thinking about safflower oil, we want to think about it being high in our linoleic acid and our omega-3 and 6. Now, sunflower oil is definitely going to have very similar properties as safflower oil. And I also want to point out that you may see two versions of this, and one can have a high oleic acid version and the other can have a high linoleic version. But either way, what's really important is the vitamin E level in sunflower oil, which is very good for our skin. And also, if you have oily skin, I have found that working with clients, they definitely love sunflower oil. And a lot of times I will mix that with apricot oil. And it's just very good for general massages or applying to the skin. And I just love using it because, as I mentioned before, it's easily absorbed. So why not? Why not use something that is going to be so soothing for our skin, and it is very, very good for us. Now, here's the other thing that I want you to keep in mind as we kind of go to our last oil, which is flaxseed oil. And I want to just kind of plug the importance of quality, not essential oils, but quality vegetable oils. And anytime you're using them on your skin, you want to pay attention to the expiration date on the oils, because when they're rancid, you can tell. They do not smell good at all. And if you decide to make a body butter or a facial oil or any type of skin oil, you just want to keep that in mind. So always make sure that you're recording when you actually open the bottle. And I tend to use my vegetable oils very quickly, but I try not to go beyond a year. Some oils have a very long shelf life, but I choose not to use them for longer than a year. And anytime I'm making products, I am very cautious and conscious of when I purchase my bulk oils, because I want to make sure that I use them. And I will also, for Sula Beauty Co., be adding symbols to all of my packaging that gives you the recommended amount of time when you should keep, or how long you should keep your product, just so that you know. So that is going to be an addition that is coming to my labels in the upcoming weeks. And you can always go to sulabeautyco.com to check out those fun and fabulous products. Anyhow, let's talk about flaxseed. So I started talking about it before, and I really want to make sure that we're not thinking about flaxseed in a way that we think about it from a food perspective. Like, yes, it is incredible for us. It's great for fiber. It's great for digestion. But because of that alpha linoleic acid, it does wonders for our skin. And I love using my facial oils and body oils with flaxseed oil as well. Now, flaxseed oil is definitely going to be high in omega-3 fatty acids. And even just using it on your skin or cooking with it, or even if you wanted to add it to a smoothie, it doesn't taste like... doesn't have a taste. I'll just leave it at that. For me, you may notice a taste in some, if you've ever had flaxseed, it has like a nutty texture to it. So just keep that in mind. But I don't tend to have issues with it. So just keep that in mind. Sometimes I will use it in a salad dressing, in addition to saying, do I want to put this on my face today? And I just wanted to give you some different ideas of how you could use these oils. So I am going to leave you with a very quick and dirty recipe for a skin oil. So make sure you're not driving, or just come back to this podcast episode and take note of the recipe. So if we're doing a very basic body oil, you are going to want to grab some flaxseed oil, sunflower, and safflower oil. And if you want to add essential oils, I'm going to give you those calculations. So if I'm making a 2-ounce bottle of oil, I am going to add 1/2 ounce of flaxseed oil, 1/2 ounce of safflower oil, and I'm going to add 1 ounce of sunflower oil. From an essential oil perspective, if you want to add those, you can do 7 drops of lavender, 7 drops of tangerine or sweet orange oil, and then 1 drop of peppermint. And when you're making this oil, you actually want to add your essential oils to the bottle first, and then swirl it around and let it sit for like 5 to 10 minutes, and then add your carrier oils to that same container. Give it a nice swirl or shake, and then you can use it right away. I absolutely love using this oil. It is great at the end of the day, and I I just love how it uplifts my mood, and I wanted to be able to share that with you guys today. So with that, I hope you have a fabulous day, and we're also going to talk about why you have to be careful with essential oils around pets, small children, and pregnancy next week. Take care. Okay, thyroid warriors, get out there and take things one step at a time. Remember, reflect on your triumphs, know that you are doing your best, and do what you need to do in order to be well. I would absolutely love it if you subscribe to this podcast and share this episode with a friend. And don't forget, leave me a review. I read those and try very hard to improve the show based upon your feedback. So I'd love to hear from you. And with that, be happy, be whole, and be well. Take care.